No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And here we are again. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday morning. It's nice and cool. It's a little windy, a little bit cloudy, and a little bit cold. But it's been cold for a long time here. And what happens with cold? Well, you have to heat your houses, right? And you have to make sure there's enough heat in there so that you're comfortable. Unfortunately, a lot of us are being hit either today or in your emails or through your mail. You're getting some bills, and they're called electrical bills. And what's inside that electrical bill? A bunch of money that you need to pay. Because what happened in January 1st, we had a whole bunch of new taxes on energy costs that are driving your bills to go up. I had a call this morning from good friends out of California. And they said, Mike, do you know how much my electrical bill is? $613. The bill the last month before that was only $255. So they went up to $613. And a lot of that is, one, they're in a stupid state of California. And so everything there has gone up tremendously. But around this nation, we have been hit with lower natural gas production because they heat their home with all natural gas. So the production rates of natural gas has gone down, which has driven the prices up. And then on top of that, you have a natural gas tax going on. So this morning, let's go over some of this. Remember when President Biden, he goes out and he says, oh, this economy is wonderful. Jobs are at the lowest. People who are getting jobs are getting more jobs. The economy is just a wonderful place to be in at the moment. And he's lying to you through his frickin' teeth because the economy is in shambles. It's garbage at the moment. If you look at fuel prices, to put gas in your car has gone up 40 cents between last week and this week. That's not good news. They were down there for a while, and the reason why is because Biden had taken gas or oil out of his oil reserves, drained it almost completely dry, just so that you can have lower prices. But now he doesn't have any more oil, and so now prices are going up. Plus, there are other things within the world markets at the moment that are creating the prices to go up. So we're in deep caca. We're in deep caca. We are in caca land. Let's go over some of these things. On January 1st, 2023, the following Democrat tax hikes went into effect through this Inflation Reduction Act, which was a bunch of lies. We were fed a bunch of lies because now what we find out what's inside there is nothing but global warming stupidity. $6.5 billion natural gas tax will increase the household's energy bills for the month of January and going forward. Not just this month, but going forward. If you think that your household energy bills are high right now, you're going to have to wait until the three major energy taxes, which took effect January 1st, drive up your bills even higher. The first is a regressive tax on American oil and gas development. The tax will drive up the cost of household energy bills. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the natural gas tax will increase taxes by $6.5 billion. But remember, the president said that there would be no taxes on anybody earning $400,000 or less. He lied. These energy taxes hit everybody. From those making nothing who are trying to heat their house to the multi-billionaires. It hits everybody. That lie about taxing individuals, no one would get taxed on 400,000 and below, is an outright lie. The tax hike violates President Biden's tax pledge to all of us Americans making less than 400,000 per year. Biden administration officials have repeatedly admitted taxes that raise consumer energy prices are in violation of President Biden's $400,000 tax pledge. A letter to Congress from the American Gas Association warned that the methane tax would amount to a 17% increase on an average family's natural gas bill. Democrats have included a tax in the bill despite retail prices for energy surpassing multi-year highs in the United States. Natural gas prices have gone high, and they continue high. So when that happens, when you have high gas prices, natural gas prices, and you have a natural gas tax, our bills go up. $255 to $613. It's a lot. That's a big increase. If you are one of those individuals that have been hit by this natural gas tax, or by an energy tax, or if your energy costs have gone up in January, send me an email to the business advisor at zmail.com. Again, that's the business advisor at zmail.com. Tell me your story. Tell me how you're dealing with it, because a lot of you, especially up here in the Northeast, you're getting hit by this because a lot of your electrical usage is generated from coal, which has also gone up. There's a tax on that. So I want to know exactly what you guys and how you're handling it and what you're going to do. And I want to know if you're pissed off, if you're mad. Because let me tell you, if you're not mad, there's something wrong with you, because this is affecting each and every single one of you, where you are having to make a decision. Do I feed my child? Do I feed my parent? Do I what? Or do I pay a $600 bill that I cannot afford? If you look at the statistics, many people are behind payment on their utilities at the moment. We're in trouble, people. And if you're not mad, you better get mad, because it's going to get worse. It is going to get worse. Then there's a $1.2 billion coal tax, which will increase household energy. A $74 billion stock tax, which will hit your 401ks. The tax will put U.S. employers at a competitive disadvantage with China. And we're already at a fighting point at the moment with China, and yet you want to go ahead and tax on 401k plans, on gasoline tax, on natural gas tax, and the American people are suffering, and you don't care. If you guys are not mad, you better get mad. The other issue, part of that gas tax, remember, all of these energy companies are corporations. They're all corporations. What do you think's inside this Inflation Reduction Tax Act? Well, they want to do $225 billion corporate tax hike, which will be passed on to who? You, me, our gas bills, our electrical bills. Democrats imposed a 15% corporate alternative minimum tax on the financial statement income of American businesses reporting $1 billion in profits. For the past 3 years, these American companies employ millions and millions of people. If the taxes are going up, that cuts into their profits, and they're going to let people go. That's why you are seeing so many layoffs at the moment, because companies have got to plan for this. Businesses have got to say, okay, what are we going to do? Because now our energy costs are going up in our own production plants, in our own offices. Our energy costs are going up. We're now getting hit with another 15% corporate tax if you're a $1 billion company. But let me tell you, that $1 billion is not going to be just for $1 billion companies. It's going to be for any small company too. Don't ever believe when they say $1 billion companies. It never follows that. Because once it goes from Congress over to the Internal Revenue Service and the attorneys over there, the tax attorneys read it, and they look at all the other tax codes, it doesn't just hit the $1 billion companies. It hits all companies. Happens every single time. Because the way that Congress writes it and the way that it's interpreted by the codes at the Internal Revenue Service changes. That's what happened with the PPP loans. They gave out all these PPP loans thinking the Senate thought they were all going to be tax-free, right? They were going to be forgiven. But we find out that it wasn't forgiven. A lot of loans are still, I have a client right now who got a PPP loan, and he needed a PPP loan because he was in the healthcare industry. He needed it, and they still haven't forgiven it. I have been in appeal for over a year on this case. Called them up last week, and they were still under review. So, anytime that, and Senator Grossley, I think is his name, who was a part of this, he said, we didn't realize that was going to happen. But they never went back in and fixed it. But see, that's the problem. Once it gets written in the Congress and it goes over to the Internal Revenue Service, things change because there are other codes that take in effect. As an example, forgiveness of home loans. Remember when all of you guys went out there to get your home loans forgiven? And then you found out that forgiveness part that they forgive you for was taxable. It had to be reported as income. Remember that? Yeah. When it went from Congress over to the Internal Revenue Service, there were other provisions within the code that the Congress don't even take into effect. So everybody who was forgiven, that forgiveness part wasn't really forgiven. It was tax. Just like on school loans. You're going to get that forgiven, and a portion of it's forgiven. That forgiveness portion is taxable income to you. The problem, when it goes from Congress over to the Internal Revenue Service, and you look at all of the other codes that surround that new law of what you thought it was going to be isn't what you got. Because there are other codes that are there, that are in place. They all have to run together. If this doesn't meet this, and that happens here, and this happens there, and the code is very complex. That's why it's so confusing to every American in the United States. Listen, if you want to have more, oh, by the way, expect to have high tax bills. Remember where to send me your comments. The Business Advisor at zmail.com. I want to hear from you. And tell me what you're going to do. I want to know your story. If you want to have more access to me, go to www.lodgelodge-co.com. Again, that's www.lodgelodge-co.com. So we have some things to think about for the remainder of this Saturday, right? How are we going to manage our household budgets? How are we going to pay these bills? Let's forget about it for right now. Everybody go out. God bless you. I love you. Here's some jazz.